should I monetize this? Like, how do I go deeper?
Being a little more creative with monetization. I have 3 paid posts a month. That's obviously not paying the bills.
Yeah.
So where am I making my money, essentially? I do think introverts, extroverts, whoever you are, have to get comfortable with being solo or by yourself. And I try and also give a breadth of events that are more intimate, because not everyone can go to a 5,000 person concert and enjoy it by themselves.
Totally. Hi, I'm Kayleigh, and welcome to the Creator Spotlight, brought to you by Channel RVA. Channel RVA brings you news, events, weather, everything Richmond, and our friend Elaine does the same thing. Miscellaneous has been a crazy popular page in Richmond, and part of what we're doing here with the Creator Spotlight podcast is putting the spotlight on the creators who are actually putting the spotlight on all of the great things in our city. So Elaine, welcome to the Creator Spotlight. Thank you so much for sitting down with us. Like I said, you have a crazy popular page. We're gonna get into what happened. So if you would just start by telling us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and like what brought you to Richmond. What's up?
Yeah, no, I love it. I feel like I've told this story every time, and also I have to think about my own story every time too. But it's funny because it's all based in Virginia. I grew up in Charlottesville, and then I didn't want to go to UVA, and I have many friends that are Wahoos, but I wanted to go a little further, but I actually knew in my heart I wanted to stay in Virginia. I found University of Richmond. It was recommended because at the time I wanted to be an accountant. So I laugh only because it couldn't be farther from my personality, but I do like crunching the numbers. And there's something about the fact that there's always going to be a little more of a finite answer. So there was just something that was attractive about that at the time. So I went to University of Richmond. I literally did step by step to become an accountant. And then I worked in the city of Richmond, stayed obviously after graduation. And from that point until 2020, I didn't really know what I was doing. I liked my major, I liked my job, but I wasn't actually enjoying Richmond itself as a city. I think a lot of my friends, especially from University of Richmond, moved back to the bigger cities. They're from New York, if not just up and down the East Coast, anywhere but Virginia, oddly. And so when I said I was staying back in Richmond, they're like, okay, well, we'll just wait for you here. And my whole plan the whole time was to move. By the time the pandemic came around in 2020, kind of anchored me here for better or worse, I was still antsy. I didn't necessarily love it here. And at the same time, before I left, my friends had said, okay, if you don't like it here, you should make a list of why and make sure you don't duplicate that somewhere else, which to this day, I appreciate you.
That's great advice.
Agreed. And so before moving, I deep dived. There was nothing else to do other than walk anyway around Richmond. And I think I covered every street and every park, et cetera. Things that I'd actually never exposed myself to after graduating in 2017 and realized I actually really liked Richmond. And that kind of started pivoting me towards, well, why didn't I know this place was here? Why can I never find out, what's going on, et cetera. Mm-hmm. So then I started saying, well, I'm going to start recording it. There's nothing else to do during, again, a pandemic, and I wasn't ready to be a TikTok dancer. So yeah, I basically started recording and just exploring Richmond street by street. And I realized how many cool things were in between underground and just not talked about enough. And so I think by basically making an open diary to Richmond and saying, hey, this is what I'm up to. You don't have to do it, but at least here's like a point of view or a lens of what's going on for the day, for the weekend. It just snowballed into what it is now, which is more of a structured daily guide and weekend guide of what's going on.
You truly do have a incredible guide too. So that's kind of crazy to hear you be like, there was a time that I didn't know what the heck was going on, because I'm like, I feel like you have so many things now on your feed. There's no way that you go to all of them. Like they're happening at the same damn time. Like, how are you going to do that? But that's amazing though, that you're still putting people on. So when did the snowball like start to happen with your page? Like, is there a marked moment that you were kind of like, oh my God, like I have something huge here, or that you were like, wow, I'm spending a lot of time on this?
Mm-hmm. Again, camera on or off, I was going to go do it, AKA explore my city, do as many outdoor activities, find new businesses. But I think the pivot was when I realized the power of staying hyperlocal. Because again, at first I was like, I'm going to explore. And I tried to like go back to my hometown, or I would do a lot of hiking, outdoor activities, because that's what everyone else was doing. But the real traction always would be the easiest way to put it. The traction was always felt when I would tag someone locally, or again, interact with them online, because we couldn't interact that much in person. Mm-hmm. And when you interact with someone in Richmond specifically, it just is helpful to them. It's helpful to you. The repost, the crossover of just interest and eyes on your content. I realized, first of all, that was a free promo for business. Businesses right now are so strapped, they're not going to be able to pay for ads, but they'll repost you. But then by reposting me, it was an ad for them. It was an ad for me, which is awesome. And I think that was kind of the light bulb of, okay, this is helpful for someone else and helpful for my own page.
That's awesome. So when you started to make your social media more than just like a for fun thing, when you got into like putting people on doing that kind of promotion type work, did you just start doing that just for fun, for free? And when did it like dawn on you that this may be something, like you looked at other content creators and you're like, I could make like a business out of this? Like, where are you in that stage of your page? Because you have like 26,000 followers at the time of recording. Like, that's just exceptional. So like, what are you doing with that momentum?
Ooh, that's a good full question.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure there's so many parts to that too. Yeah.
I was going to break it down into 3 parts. So the first was, do I even monetize? I think there's something about my page that's extremely raw, unfiltered, and most importantly, not scripted. Mm-hmm. If I feel like going to it, I'm going to go to it. I remember actually taking my first paid gig, and paid is loose because it was actually just an exchange. They were like, we'll feed you, you talk about us. It's essentially how most of the gigs go. And I remember the feeling of excitement. I have been spending so much of my own money eating out almost every day that I was like, okay, this has to change anyway. So this is a good start. And I remember my first paid gig, and I don't want to give them a shout out because it was so hard for me to realize I actually don't think this is where I want to go with it, because it was scripted. And that's not, again, anyone's fault. That's how the game is played. And it's not even a game. It's just the way you trade services for, again, whether it's free experiences, food, etc. But something about that just had these strings that didn't feel like it was me. And so that was, at this point, this was 2021, 2022. So I knew that I had enough of a following. People were interested in inviting me places. That was part 1, step 1, phase 1. But again, those few times I took exchanges for things just to post, they weren't handing me a script. They weren't telling me what to say, but there was this added pressure of saying something positive, like hyper positive. It had to have titles of the best, must go. And I don't necessarily feel like that. I just thought it was a great spot. A great spot, maybe not for everybody, but for families, or maybe it wasn't family friendly. And I realized I was trapping myself too quickly into exchanged posts / paid posts. Yeah. So I actually took a step back by 2023, and I had to kind of, this brings it to part 2 of 2023, 2024 even, of just, okay, if I were to exchange things, if I am going to be paid, what exactly are my lines, my boundaries, that I cannot say yes to under any circumstance. And eventually it just kept naturally occurring where someone would offer something. And I think my number 1 question was, would I go there unpaid? And if I was going to go there unpaid, then honestly, I'd love to get paid for it. And then I know I'd be sharing an honest opinion. Yeah. That has now translated to me taking it full time in June of 2025, which is almost a year.
That's crazy.
And I feel really confident in what I say yes to. I feel really confident even pitching, hey, I'm not going to read a script. I'm not going to just say this was the best blank. But what I will say is what I really thought of it in a positive way, because my page is positive. Yeah. I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a food critic. I'm not going to sit here and analyze things with a rubric either. I will go in, and if I really do enjoy it, I'll put my spin on it, and I really will enjoy it. So it's slowly snowballed as far as monetization and not spending just my own money and it being an outflow of cash activity. So that's been a great thing to see, but it was very slow.
I mean, I think that makes sense, to have to like scale it up. And especially you said, so you were still working full time and you had this page blowing up at the same time. What was the thing that you are like, okay, I need to just focus on like my social platform. Like that's really where my heart is. And I know that like you felt confident enough to not pursue other pieces of your career.
I think from an accountant standpoint, you have to have a certain amount of savings. You have to feel financially okay to
totally
fall on your face the first few months or do really well and be okay either way.
Yeah.
And I felt like in 2024 and in 2025, I shifted my financial perspective to save as if I was going to be potentially jobless or without like sponsorships or again, just that even income of a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And then once I got to that point in 2025 by like the springtime, I knew any point I would feel comfortable leaving. And then it was just strategizing when. And I couldn't even really answer if like a single moment or a single contract was signed, but I would say that enough interest was coming in my emails or enough offers were coming in. And I also saw almost, again, a steady pattern of it. Okay, this does actually mimic a paycheck. Okay, I also have the savings to back it up.
Yeah.
So really for me, it was a financial decision above all. And then I knew that the momentum had been there, at least for a few years on the page. So in combination, that's what made me feel good.
That feels like a good like consistency. So like for other content creators, like no matter what they're doing, what would be your advice to them other than that, have enough money to fall on your face? Because I think that that is incredible advice for anybody on any venture. And gosh, that must be helpful to have your numbers brain.
Yes.
Working on social media and then growing your channel. I mean, a little bit jealous of that, to be honest. But yeah, what would you say to other people who are starting to contemplate, like, should I monetize this? Like, how do I go deeper on this?
No, that's a great question. I think being a little more creative with monetization. I think when people say, oh, you must make money from paid posts. Like if you follow my page, I have 3 paid posts a month. That's obviously not paying the bills.
Yeah.
So where am I making my money essentially? And what I've actually done is a lot of my work is now background work. I consult others in social media. I'll make content for them. I don't want to personally be attached, but I will still give them their lens. And it's almost, again, more of a creation package, or I'll do everything but put my name on it and I'll just hand it back to you.
Cool.
And then there are also a lot of positions where you can sign year-long contracts to work with folks. So, you know, whether it's the VMFA or someone who has programming throughout the year, you want to sign those contracts because, again, if you're waiting month to month for that company or that small business even to have the budget to rehire you next month.
Totally. That
is really scary in an economy like this, whether it's going well or not. So I actually started doing a lot of contract work where, again, I would say, I would love to work with you if you have 12 months of work for me. And we would negotiate maybe a little lower price because they're working with me consistently and vice versa. I think that's where monetization is headed. I love a paid post. I love a random email, but I'm not going to rely on someone seeing my page and emailing me next month for next month's paycheck.
No, that actually like keeps it really consistent. Cause yeah, I think people are like, okay, I'm just gonna kind of like cross my fingers and be like, I hope that restaurants invite me to eat free food and then also cut me a check at the end. You know what I mean? It's like, that's not consistency.
Yeah.
So that's cool that you kind of like got that figured out. And then so when you say like you're doing content for them, like what does that look like? Like different campaigns or like what is your consultancy kind of look like?
The easiest example is I actually just recently took over Scott's Editions Instagram page.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, it's been fun because again, it's just being a little more quirky. They just wanted a little more personality behind the page. And this will be my first public talking of this or talking about this. But I would say it's been fun because I don't ever have to say it's me. I don't ever have to be in front of the camera. I don't like being in front of the camera. But
thank you.
Yeah, but we're here.
Thank you.
And we're there. And so again, these are more just background roles. And so again, it wasn't necessarily monetizing Miss Elaine directly, but it was monetizing what skills I have.
Yeah, I mean, like what an amazing portfolio. Just also from my graphic design background, the amount of things that you get on one post and it doesn't look a mess somehow, that's That's something to celebrate in general.
I'll take it.
I mean, seriously, if you look at your stories, like it is just stacked and packed with things that are going on, and you do it in a very tasteful way. So great work with that. There's people who make one event post and you're like, woof, organization of information, you know?
I agree as someone who collects event information. I'm like, oh, it's missing the date, the time, something essential. And I have to go reach out and ask. So yes, graphic design is a whole major in skill. So
yes,
kudos.
It is a large skill and it should not be forgotten at all.
If you want to own the internet in your domain on search and in AI search, you need the team that wrote the playbook on how to land on top. At Exponent 21, we help businesses dominate search rankings, drive traffic, and convert visitors into loyal customers. In the world of AI, it pays to be number one. You are number one. Make sure the world knows it. Go to exponent21.com and get a free multi-page SEO report when you mention America's healthiest city.
What are some of like your favorite parts of the process? Whether it is, doing the contracting type of work or actually just going somewhere. Like, what's your favorite things?
I will say the boots on the ground, just, hey guys, I woke up and chose 20,000 steps. Where can I go today? I think because it's so unscripted, because maybe it's my ADHD, a combination of things that make me me. Mm-hmm. There's just something about staying genuine or authentic to yourself, whether the camera is on or off, that feels the best. And I know authentic gets thrown around, but I think you feel it more than just define it. And again, when I'm just bopping around at a random cafe and I just happen to discover some local band's poster about an underground concert, that's my favorite thing. That's just so core Richmond. That's just very much a, nope, this wasn't planned, sponsored, and or scripted. I literally grabbed a coffee and happened to look up on the local billboard, and something about that is my favorite part. Again, I call it live discovery. Live discovery of events is my favorite.
That is very cool, because I think too that, as great as it is that we have like social media and like the events that we have on Channel RVA and everything on your page, like as great as that is, there is something about that live discovery of just like, I was walking in Scott's Addition and there was a concert happening down the way. You know what I mean? And I was like, I was going from one event to my house and I just wandered over and I started dancing. You know what I mean? Like,
I love that.
Yeah, I didn't know that was going on. I didn't plan to go over there, but like that feels like you're alive.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And you're not just like, what do I do on my phone today?
Right.
What's going to be the cool thing to do? So have you always been like that though? Like, I'm just going to kind of like wake up and have an adventure. Has that always been kind of your vibe, or has this helped you kind of like step into that piece of yourself a little bit more?
That's a great question. I would like to think, I'm going to self-analyze live, that it is me in the sense of I've always been a yes person. Spontaneous is another way to put it.
Miscellaneous, spontaneous.
Yeah, for sure. Part of the reason of the naming. I think just because I've always taken the mentality that life is so short, and not that I was thinking that at 3, but like I've always for some reason just gravitated towards something new, or again, something that I hadn't been exposed to. I've always loved being out of my own comfort zone. So I think that all ties back into this energy of yes, or again, that energy of spontaneity, seeing something I've never seen before. I'm like, well, let's do it. So
do you think that's something like an introverted person could do? Like, have you ever seen somebody like that who kind of like takes your like advice on that live discovery piece? Or do you think that that's kind of like a disposition?
Ooh, another spicy question.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm having them.
So I've actually gotten some wonderful DMs about people who've actually been inspired to solo explore Richmond more often. They've moved here. They don't have any like close connections yet, or they moved here for work. And again, they don't know anyone. And they'll DM me and say, you went to dinner here by yourself, which meant it probably was okay for solo diners, or just felt a little more accepting of a space. And so then they went to go do it. And I think that's exciting. And part of the reason why, again, I like being spontaneous, because I'm like, don't worry, it's one thing to post about it. I'm like, you should go do this. But like, I'll go do it for you. And if it looks appealing, you should go do it too, is the energy, hopefully, that I bring within just being spontaneous in general. I do think introverts, extroverts, whoever you are, you have to get comfortable with being solo or by yourself, just as much as going to big events. And I try and also give a breadth of events that are more intimate, because not everyone can go to a 5,000 person concert and enjoy it by themselves.
Totally.
And that's okay. So
yeah, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
So what are your favorite types of events then? Like, would you prefer, are you more of like a 5,000 concert girly? Are you more like, I think you would do some of the run clubs. Like, is that more your vibe? Would you rather like go to the art museum? Like, if we could go do anything right now.
Ooh, definitely a pop-up market. I think it's the most intentional, like almost infant energy, because none of these folks have brick and mortars, yet they are monetizing their dream, whether it's making jewelry or creating something, baking something. And again, these folks eventually will become big names in Richmond, which is my favorite journey to watch. And it always starts at a pop-up market. It always starts under a tent. They had 12 products and 7 months to plan. This is their first market. There's just something about that energy that I've always enjoyed being around. And then the extroverted piece of it is then when I go up to their booth, I always ask them, how'd you start? How do you feel so far of your first market? Or maybe this is a year of being in markets. Either way, just that baby business energy in any of these pop-up markets, my favorite. I could go to one every day.
I've really loved like a good like walk around too. Like anything where you can go walk around and discover stuff like that. Like if it's small or big, I feel like, and there's so many opportunities for stuff like that in Richmond. Like it just feels like it's all the time. So I know this is going to be like very hard for you, especially with how connected you are and all of the things that you've seen and done. But like favorite businesses, favorite events, like what do you always look forward to? Who are you always looking for? Or like anybody that's like you've really seen come up, like you met them at as a baby business and now you're like, oh, they're growing up.
That's fair. Okay. I'm going to try and remember all those the micro questions. My first one is if I had to shout out a small business, 3 come to mind. Okay. My first one is Fat Rabbit Cakes. I eat their
so good.
Yeah, I eat everything from the bakery. Every time someone's in town, I take them somewhere, I take them there. And
you had the cloud latte?
No, but it's on my list.
The cloud is to die for.
Influence me. Heard. We're going there next, and we're gonna tag Channel RVA.
Yes.
I love that.
Awesome.
My second small business, as far as like especially the growth journey, is Hem and Her Food. They have a beautiful story. It's a husband and wife, and they represent Cambodian food. Great. Which is often eclipsed with all the other Southeast Asian cuisines, Thai, Vietnamese. But they're having their moment. They're pop up all over Richmond, and it's a really fun journey to follow. And I'm just really hoping for a brick and mortar next. And I know that's their hope. So that's exciting when that's also what they want.
And it's Hem and Her?
Hem and Her as in H-E-M and Her food.
All right. Well, we need to keep it going for them so we can have a brick and mortar.
Agreed. And then as my third small business, I would say, that's kind of tough. It's actually not going to be a business, but I actually love the Valentine Museum. I think it is underrated. It is literally a museum about our city. And the garden is always open to the public during operational hours. And it's stunning. I've been to opera there. I've been to a gala there. And on Thursdays, they have, the Valentine as a whole is open on Thursdays to the public during certain hours. You can find out more information online. But I just think it's fabulous. It, again, is a museum about us.
Oh, I love that.
Same.
So creators then. Other people that maybe we should be following.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as far as folks in the creative scene in Richmond, there's so many to mention, and I'm trying to be fair.
I know it's really hard, honestly. I just want to say on Elaine's behalf, like she's not playing favorites right now. So it's just off the cuff.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people to shout out, and it grows all the time too, which is part of why we wanted to do this. It's just like, let people know about all of these amazing people.
Agreed. Okay. So off the top of my head, of people I know I've been from day ones, I'll give a little context actually. So my first influencer event, back to like the growth, the baby stage, I actually went to an island shrimp company in Chesterfield, a huge like influencer event. I didn't know what influencing events meant. I was like, I guess that makes me an influencer. And I remember going there and it was 30 or 40 people who had done this for a while. And I had a little imposter syndrome. I didn't know how to act. I realized we were all taking the same content. And I was like,
That must be freaky. Everybody's like all got their phones at the same shrimp.
yes, yes. Well put. That's exactly what it is. It's us versus like 40 people taking a picture of one piece of coconut shrimp. And I'm like, I don't know how we're going to angle this, but okay.
Sure.
But within that event, the folks that were so kind and immediately said hi, realized I was new, would definitely be Kesey of Well Read and Fed. Okay. She's not specifically just Richmond content. She does a lot of food and books at large, but she also goes to a lot of Richmond events. She's also a runner. And she's just wonderful. I think she has a really warm, authentic voice. And again, she can always be seen around Richmond. I think any kind of content creator who puts themselves visibly in their city, that is what content creation boils down to is, were you there? Were you actually there? Were you enjoying life? I hope you were, because it is a really fun job. Another one is the Virginia Foodies. They graduated VCU recently and have stayed around Richmond, which is cool to see. Obviously food content. And I just think their camera work is beautiful. The third one is Eat and Play. They are a couple around Richmond, and their camera work is also incredibly impressive. All iPhone, which I'm like, that's right.
Wow. DIY. I love that. Yeah. It's inspiring. It's me and my little iPhone.
Yeah. Agreed. Because I'm like, accessibility, no matter what industry you are in, there's a level of accessibility that is possible, that you can jump into. Not because you're going to be an expert from day one, but Eat and Play is actually a great example. Again, husband-wife duo, they're wonderful. The husband is actually running his first marathon this year, and I'm so excited for him.
Aww.
And, then you were kind of saying, okay, my favorite run clubs, activities in general. And overall, I kind of ended with, as Richmond probably knows, I did my first marathon last year.
Yeah.
And while I had a really interesting journey with running last year, a net positive, but an interesting one.
I only have admiration for you. I don't know how you do that.
I'll see her out next year. I'll see you for the 50th marathon in 2027. That's what that sounded like. Yeah, you can walk it, guys.
Okay. I can walk it like the mile in high school. Great.
Times 26.1, but 2. But yes.
Yeah.
But I would give the last big shout out. I know they're a big name, but they deserve that much kudos. Is Sports Backers.
Incredible.
I am partnering with them, but this is not obviously paid or anything to say this. It's just how much I'm passionate about it. I think Lap 2 is what I'm calling it, which is running my second marathon with them, with their training team again. And I think there's just something about in-person, science-backed training and doing it with other locals who you will see on race day. And I think having that healthier inspiration of running and not seeing social media trends and wanting to do run clubs and not caring about pace, there needs to be more of us talking about, hey, you ran today. I'm proud of you. I'm not going to ask you about your pace. And that's the Sports Backers way. And that's my way.
Yeah, no, I am so much for a spirited walk. I much prefer that. But when I see people running out and about, it is so great. And same with all the bike clubs and everything. I love to see it.
Yeah.
So, Elaine, what does growth look like for you as we wrap up? What do we expect to see from you next? And how can the community support you and support the other people that you're showing on your page?
I will let you all actually be the first ones to know this. Growth is going to expand from Richmond, but not even actually from the East Coast. I will definitely have Richmond be the forefront of my content because that's just who I am. That's where I've grown with the community. Mm-hmm. But I am excited to expand to another city and kind of do a 60-40 split, which will be a hard one on my heart, but also I'm excited for that change. Mm-hmm. And so growth is continuing to focus on hyperlocal, no matter where I am. Mm-hmm. But I will say that I will be splitting my content with a new city.
That's exciting, though.
Yeah, I am excited.
Well, I bet, too, whoever happens in the new city, too, is going to see your Richmond stuff. And Richmond, as we know, is New York Times is you must vacation here. So I have a feeling that you'll be a little bit in that ecosystem, too.
Yes, for sure. It's a good way to put it.
So give your handle, please, for our audience, and then we'll sign off here.
Awesome. Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram at miscellaneous, which is MISS_E. And it's my name, Elaine, and then Neas. So if you see me in public, it's not Miss Neas. It's just miscellaneous.
Miss Neas. Did people call you that?
It's really cute. I always feel like a school teacher.
Yeah, I was like,
yes.
That's your teacher name now.
Yeah.
Cool. You're kind of being a teacher too, with like, here's stuff to do.
True.
So I think that kind of makes sense. But Elaine, thank you so much for joining us. Like, your channel is so cool and such an inspiration to so many people, myself included, but like so many people when we talk about influencers, cool stuff to do and like what to know in Richmond, your name comes up. So congratulations on all that you've built, and thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Yeah. Thank you guys too. This is awesome. I love anything local that supports other locals.
That's what we do. Thank you guys. Thanks for watching the Creator Spotlight from Channel RVA. Don't just like and subscribe to our channel, check out today's creator online too. And check out channelrva.com for everything Richmond. News, events, weather, restaurants, we've got it all. Thanks for being a part of our community.